going on? It's your boy Convo with Marlo. Today I have a special guest with me here today. Who do I have the pleasure of being here with?
Hey everyone, it's Reed Clark. I'm the president and CEO of the Edmonton Stingers.
Yes, sir. So before I dive into all the questions I got here laid out for you, I want to ask, how are you feeling? What's going on?
Man, I'm feeling good. There's a lot going on. It's crazy. Our season doesn't start for 75 more days, but it's been busy. There's so much that we're out there doing. So I feel excited though.
You got the number like right there in your head. You know exactly.
I know exactly where we're at. I know exactly. You got to stay dialed in this job. So I know exactly where we're at. But yeah, I'm looking forward to our 2023 season.
Yes, sir. Is time flying by? Is it kind of taking forever? You want it to start already? How are you feeling currently?
You know what? I think every day is a little bit different on that. Like, I mean, some days I'm like, we got so much more to do to get ready where we want to be.
Yeah.
And then other days I'm like, we got tons of time. We still got time to figure this out. And then it's just about like prioritizing, like, what do we got to get done this week? What do we got to get done today? And then what can we kind of push and put that on there? So it's a big time management job and just figuring out what exactly you need to focus on right now. Because if you look at it all in one sort of perspective, it's almost overwhelming, right? You're like, oh, we got to get so many things, but you got to break it down to piece by piece.
So everything starting now, from 75 days from now, is all for the Stingers. Everything that's being done, said, is all to build up the hype behind it and just kind of get everything in order.
Yeah, I mean, like our home opener is Sunday, May 28th, 4 o'clock. It's Calgary Surge. So that's when we kick off our 5th season in the CBL. So it's all getting ready for that. I mean, yeah, I think we've got the best fan experience in the city.
Oh, yeah.
And I know that because I've been to everything. And our games are crazy, what goes on there in terms of fan engagement. And the balls, whoever hasn't been, the ball is quality. And it's only going to get better with that. So I know the product we have there. So it's just about, getting that message out to more people and building up your exposure and your brand, right? So that the season is kind of one part of that, but the season's only 2.5, 3 months. So what are we doing the rest of the time to engage with the basketball community, the overall community in Edmonton? Like, how are we keeping in people's mind, know that we are the professional basketball team in this city and we're around doing as much as we can. So we are basketball, right? That's kind of the whole goal, man.
Yeah. So it's only 2.5, 3 months? No way. For some reason, I thought it was way longer. It seems like it's way longer because damn near every day I see like a Snapchat or a video, Instagram, someone posting up a video, always kind of giving like letting people know that they're at the games. So it's that short.
Yeah, I mean, so we have a 20 game season, 10 home, 10 away, right? And like it starts at the end of May. Our first game is on the 27th of May in Calgary, and then we play them the next day at home. And then our last game is the end of July, and then 1 round or 2 rounds of playoffs, and then championship weekend, I think starts on August 13th in Vancouver. And then you're done, man. And then that's it, right? So
until next year.
But it makes sense, right? Because like all of our players, everyone asks me like, where are these guys playing? I'm like, man, they're all playing G League down the States, Europe, Australia, Asia. They're playing these leagues, and these leagues basically go from like August till May, right? So, the Canadian League Basketball League that we play in is that kind of showcase league for a few months to really put these guys out there and be like, here's what they can do. And they prove themselves and they get moved up a division in Europe, or they get a G League contract, or they get a summer league deal in the NBA. Like that's what the league's about, right? So it's about giving that opportunity to guys when they're not playing, right?
Yeah. So now that's a quick touch on the Stingers, but obviously I want to get more into that. But before I get more into that, I want to get to know you as a person. You know what I'm saying? Obviously you said your name, Reed Clark, but what's your background? Where are you from?
I'm born and raised from here, man. I'm born and raised from Edmonton. Born and raised Edmonton, proud, dude. So I grew up on the West End.
Your whole life, did you go to JP or Jack?
No. I'm a Shep kid. I went to Westman, and then junior high, and then Shep. So I grew up there when the ball was like really too good. So I actually got cut in grade 12 from the senior team because Steve Sir, who's now our GM, Jermaine Buckner, who's here from the north side, all these Phil Sudo, Brandon Park, all these guys. We had 2 guys go NCAA, and I think 3 or 4 other guys went to go play U Sports, right? Like the team was that good. They went provincials twice. So, but I grew up playing ball my whole life. I coach my kids, community league. We got practice tonight. We got a tournament this weekend. I did the 3-on-3 circuit for years, the rock in the rim, the hoop it up, did all that.
Wow.
And so I've always been I'm a big Edmonton homer, man. I think this is a special place. Unbelievable people. You can do whatever you want here. I think the opportunities are endless. So, if I can tie kind of basketball into community and kind of building this place up, that's what I'm trying to do with this whole Stingers thing, man. Yeah.
Are you still nice? If I was to give you a basketball right now, can you shoot? Can
you
dribble?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I can still play. Yeah.
What position did you play when you used to play back then?
Yeah, I was a shooting guard.
Shooting guard.
I was shooting guard, man.
Wait, lefty or righty?
No, I'm a righty. I'm a righty. Yeah. So I can still play. I'm still. You know what? And I got so much respect for athletes because, I'd be up in the morning. Like I was a guy like 6 a.m. I go run and go shoot and get dressed and then go to school and junior high. Like I love that stuff. Right. Yeah. But to get to that certain level, you just got to have something else. You got to see the game different. You got to have a different mentality.
You got to eat, breathe, sleep.
And as much as I could put in the work on that, I don't know I could ever get to some of those levels where guys, it just comes and they have the whole package. So when you see all that and I see guys who are playing for us or in the league or whatever, to me, it's so much more impressive than just the athletic ability. It's everything else, man, So, I don't know. I can never quite get there, but no, I can still play. Oh, yeah, and there's moments you go off. Like we're playing men's league, when you hit 3 threes in a row and you're like, I can't be stopped. Like I cannot, nobody can stop me right now. And still when you have that feeling, you're like, that's why I play, man. That's why you play, right?
No, I know this. Back in high school days, I tried out for the basketball team. I was in grade 10 and I tried out for seniors.
Yeah.
I made it. I made the first cut, but then I had issues at home. I couldn't go, a whole bunch of stuff. But I know what you mean. There'd be some practice games that we play.
Yeah.
I'm just shooting. No matter where I pull up from, it's just going in. I don't know what got into me those days, but it was just, so I know what that feeling is like. But you're in the
zone, man. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. So is it playing ball in high school, has things changed from then to now? Like rules, is it more physical, less physical, more mental than physical? What's the whole thing like?
You know what? Like, so we've been to a lot of high schools lately. Like, we're showing up and kind of bringing our Stingers game experience to high schools. We call them like Stinger showcase games. So we're bringing like DJ, cheerleaders, giveaways, all that kind of stuff to games. So we've been to a few this year. I think we've done over 10. Wow. And what I'm seeing from the high school basketball scene is one, like there's fans. Like when I played, I mean, there might be like your mom and a couple friends and parents, and that's it, right? Now it's like packed. Like we're at Skona for the championships 2 weekends ago. There's like 300 kids couldn't even get in the building. Like it was crazy. So I think the fan experience and the other kids actually like buying into like the school spirit and doing chants and taunting kids is awesome. So that part's pretty cool. And then, actually last week I was in BC for their provincial high school championships, which is like a spectacle if you haven't seen it. It's like 4,000 kids in Langley going crazy. But I compare that ball to kind of what I've seen in Edmonton, and I think the ball's better here, man. Like there's way more size. Like I don't know if it's just a year in BC what it was, but there was a lot of small kids. So there's more size, and I mean, maybe I'm biased, but I think the quality, in Alberta and especially here is pretty good, right? So taking a step up and, like you go to games down, like you're in a layup line, every kid's throwing down. Now, I know when I grew up, that wasn't the case. It was like 1 or 2 kids could kind of dunk and the rest is just doing layups. Now everyone's got that athletic ability, right?
It's crazy because some of the videos that I watch on YouTube, some of the kids from the States and some that are from here, 15, 16-year-olds, see them 360 dunk through the legs, some crazy stuff behind the back. And I'm like, what are they feeding them now? 15, 16, and you're doing stuff that a grown man can't even do.
Yeah. There's some impressive kids out there doing stuff. And they got the handles too. Like they were dribble, they were able to shoot more than they ever would. Like they're just kind of got that range that they never would have had back when I was playing it all. So it's cool to see. So I think the future's bright here. Like I think we're going to have a few more kids who go D1, and then, maybe they take that next step when we finally get a guy from Alberta, from Edmonton playing in the NBA, right?
Oh, yeah. I try to get him to like the Alphonso Davies level, but of basketball.
100%, man. 100%. And there's like, even a guy like Yahir Ugwak, who's on our team, who like grew up Millwoods, went to Ainley, got a D1 scholarship at La Jolla, Chicago, did well there, and then came here, played with the Stingers for, a season, and then he got Div 1 in Germany. And he even got a tryout like in with the Orlando Magic too. So like, he's like right there, right? And there's a bunch of guys like that, but he's got that story, man. He just went in there and started playing and took it from there, right?
No, I like that. So, as with the Stingers, what's the main goal with the Stingers? Is it to get some of these players more notice? Is it to bring more of the people from our city to come show much love as they show for hockey, to
Yeah.
show that basketball has it too?
Yeah. So one, yeah, we want to have the best team out there. We want to get back to winning championships and that. Like but everyone's trying to do that. Everyone in the league's trying to win, whatever. So that's kind of like, that's obvious, right? But I think kind of the bigger goal, what I'm trying to do is like, this is a team for Edmonton, by Edmonton. So, kind of like top down. So from myself and my two partners who are ownership, from GM to coach, from assistant coaches to players, like we want to have as much as an Edmonton feel and a community kind of buy-in as possible. And that's even getting guys like community ambassadors, like getting AGP, from Lizard over here, and getting Catherine Plouffe, who's like a big time 3x3 player on the women's scene, and Mark Dorado, who's big in the Filipino community for their basketball association, like getting as many different people engaged with this team in the city from all over, from Millwoods, from Northside, from West End and downtown, whatever it is, right? So that's kind of my thing, that what I want is people feel that the Edmonton Stingers can be their team. More than the Oilers, more than the Elks, like that. And they really kind of see, these guys are out there. These guys are out hustling at junior highs and high schools and university games and putting up nets at night and doing all these kind of things, and be like, okay, these guys are legit. These guys are really about it. And they're not just saying they want to be a community focused team. They really mean that, and they're doing the right thing.
Yeah,
so buy that, man.
I was going through your IG page, and I think there was one in somewhere in BC, I can't remember where, and also with the mayor of Edmonton, putting nets up.
Yeah.
So what's all of that? Is that just you just go around the city, see which basketball course doesn't have nets, and decide to take matters into your own hands?
Yeah, kind of, sort of. So before I even took this job with the Stingers, I wanted to start this thing called Fresh Nets, right? Yeah. And I was always seeing hoops without a mesh on it. You're just like, no one's even gonna try there. If you ever know, when you're playing outdoor hoops, like you're not even gonna shoot on those. You can't learn on that, right? So I was like, why don't people just put up nets? So I had a ladder and nets in my car, and I was going around replacing them myself. And then when I got this, I was like, okay, how do I take this and give it a little more legitimacy and bring this to the Edmonton Stingers? So we started this Fresh Nets campaign. We got approval from the city to go around and replace all the nets at City of Edmonton owned courts outside. We got our own custom navy and gold nets. We got some own stickers done for the Stingers, and then we just started going out there, man, and we started doing it. And before you knew it, we had the mayor jump on board, a bunch of guys from the Elks. We had everybody who wanted to be like, oh, I want to come do that. I want to come do that in my old neighborhood and be a part of that and put up a net. So it just started growing like crazy. And we were doing a couple a day, and people are reaching out to us directly. So and now I carry these nets around with me. So when I go travel, we were in BC last week, I'm like, oh, we got to go do a hoop. And it's a little bit of a shot at them. We'll put up an Edmonton Stingers sticker out there, put up a net. Yeah. I was even down in Arizona with my family on vacation. I'm like, we're putting up a net in the hotel, in Calgary. As soon as they announced their team, we went that day to the press conference and put up a net with the Stinger sticker, just a little bit of shots fired on that. So it's, man, it's cool to see it kind of take on a life of its own. Mm-hmm. And this year, I just ordered another 500 of these nets, and we're going to be doing community leagues. So we did City of Edmonton hoops. We'll do community league hoops this spring and summer.
No, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice putting nets, because I remember there'd be days a few years back when I was younger. My friends and I would go to the basketball or go to a park. One day the net would be there, and the next day, who knows? So now we're just playing on this big double rim. God knows whether the ball goes in or not. You got to use your best judgment. So always being knowing that there's someone who's actually out there willing to put the mesh up there is nice.
Well, I think the next step on this too is yes, we do nets one time. I'd love to get people from that community, those courts, and almost be you're the ambassador for this court. So here's 20 nets, and it's on you to keep this up and keep this court clean, and then you get season tickets or something like that. That's where I'd like to take to the next step, and I think we'll get there. But then it's really ownership on them and not just doing it one time.
That's nice. Do you think more people should be taking interest into helping out their community? Because there's been a lot of situations where some people, let's say the opportunity comes to maybe pick up garbage or whatever the case may be in the area, they won't do it unless something comes along with it. Meaning
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh, you got to pay me to do this, or maybe have food for, you know what I'm saying? Just
yeah, yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, I think so, man. Like, there's little things that people can do. Like, if I'm always like, well, if you're not going to do it, who's going to do it, right?
Exactly.
And if you're waiting on the city or the government to do stuff, like, good luck, right? Good luck. And no offense to them, but I'm just saying, like, take matters in your own hands. And if it's simple thing, like you said, like it's cleaning up, it's like it's such an easy thing to do. It doesn't take very long, but it makes a big difference. Like we start putting these nets up and kids are literally coming like across the street with a ball, like ready to hoop as soon as we do it. Right. So you see the impact right away. But yeah, man, I think if you're not, why not you, right? Why not you make the difference or do a part of it? And you don't need to start huge, right? Kind of start small and doing something and see where that goes.
No, that's nice. That's a nice thing. When, cause, as I was doing some research, it says here that you purchased the team recently.
Yes.
Like a few years ago.
Weeks ago.
No, not a few weeks ago. Sorry. But just a little bit ago that, what was it? Like 3 years, 4 years? How long when was it when you purchased the team?
No, like the deal to purchase the team. So with myself, my two partners, Jamie and Tank, that we just did that, man. We just did that in the end of February.
Wow.
So deal just closed. So, I mean, I've been with the Stingers for about a year and a half as a president. The team was owned by the league. So when the league started, they said, we're going to own all these teams. We operate it from one place in Ontario. We keep things kind of efficient. And then we sell them off to those local markets and businessmen and women as we get there, right? So now we're in that process. So that's where the opportunity came up to kind of like buy in. So with two other investors, they're like, hey, what do you think about this? You want to be in on this? I'm like, well, if I'm going to be all in, I'm going to be all in, right? So let's go. Let's get into some debt. Let's put some money up there, and let's make this happen. So no, it's pretty fresh. It's pretty fresh. Yeah.
What's that process even like? Because growing up, I always thought to buy a team is you just got to know a guy who knows a guy, have a certain amount of money, and boom, the team's yours. Obviously, now that I'm older, I know there's way more to it.
Yeah.
But since you've actually done it, what's the process like?
Yeah, I mean, the process, and I don't know what it'd be like in other leagues, but like, so if you express the interest on this, so you go to the commissioner, right? So our commissioner is Mike Morreale, so you express the interest there. He goes, okay, cool. They also do a lot of vetting on you, right? Because they want the right owners and people in place of the team because it's their brand and equity on the line too. So they do some vetting on you. They send you back some paperwork. They do, they got to make sure there's a cash. You can afford that and pay it and be really all about the things that the league wants to hold true and the team does, right? So, yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I guess there's a little bit of like vetting both ways, but then they go through it and then things happen quick before you even know, right? And then it's like, okay, and then you're signing documents and then it's like, okay, let's do this, right? So yeah, I mean, how can you do it? I think for me, being in this role as president first, it was a natural fit when there was other investors be like, okay, well, I got to bring Reed in on this. How do you want to be in on this? And then have a conversation with me like, hey man, could you get some money together? Can you do this? And then it was like, cool. Cause I knew what it was about. Right. For outside investors, I think they started seeing like, okay, I see where this league's going. I see where this team's going. I see where basketball is going in this country, province, and the city. I got to be a part of this now. So there's a lot of interest, for people who want to get it on the ground level, right, and see where this can go, right? Because it's, hey, jump in now, and who knows what the value and stuff could be.
Wow. Yeah. When you were younger, did you ever see yourself at this level or doing something like this? Because you said younger, you're crazy into balls, so you probably saw yourself in the NBA.
It's funny. You ask every kid who's like 10 or 12 and be like, oh, I'm going, man. I can play. Like, for sure, I'll get a scholarship. And who knows from there? Like, that's great. And everyone thinks like that. I don't know. I thought I'd end up in sports in some way. And, when I went to University of U of A, and then I was I worked for Molson, I worked for Sleeman in the beer world, and I worked for Auto Canada and kind of sales and marketing roles. I was always still close enough to basketball. Like, I've always had season tickets for the Stingers from day one. Wow. I think it was the third ticket buyer, actually. Someone told me that. Yeah. So I was always involved, knew the basketball community, but not like kind of arm's length away. So I was close enough that when this opportunity came up, it wasn't like a crazy reach for me to do it, and for me to sell that to other people. Right? Here's why I can do this. But Yeah, I don't know if I expect it to get to this level, to be honest with you, but you never know. You just got to put yourself in the right spots and see what happens, right? So,
and we'll probably have good people around you to kind of push you into to buying it or whatever the case may have been. I love hearing things like that because again, from the way I'm looking at it, how things used to be for me, it's like what I'm currently doing right now, this podcasting thing.
Yeah,
I had no idea that I'd be doing something like this, and now it's gone to a point where almost majority of the time, whenever I step out the house, I got people coming up to me, "Hey, you're the radio guy, you're the podcast guy." So, that's nice. You never know where life could take you.
No, and I think for a lot of years in my careers, you get good jobs, you get good, money's okay, and you're kind of focused on that. But like, you got to do what you're passionate about. You got to get to a place where you can take that chance, and that's easier said than done. But if you're in a spot where you're like, hey man, I can take this chance. I've looked at the risk reward here and I know what it's like, and I'm going to go for it. Right. Yeah. If you don't do that at some point in your career, you don't got to do it right away. You can wait a little bit. It's fine. You can be kicking yourself, right? Oh, yeah. You got to be kicking yourself because you knew that was what it was. So it lined up for me to take that chance.
When you're out in public, do you ever get people coming up to you saying, "Hey, you're the guy that owns that basketball team," or anything like that?
Once in a while, not too often, man. Maybe it's more like my friends just making fun of me, to be honest, right? They're but once in a while people come up, but yeah, it's all cool.
When it comes to scouting players, is it the typical someone sends you a video, you watch over a highlight of that player, and you kind of go from there, or is it you personally fly out to wherever that player is, you watch a few games, and then you maybe have a one-on-one conversation, like the stuff you would see on TV? Is that how it is?
I mean, it's a little bit of both, right? Like so I've got a GM and a head coach who I try to do most of scouting because they'll be better kind of analyzing basketball than I would be, right? So I try to leave it in their hands. I trust them on it. But like, I'm getting like guys are sending me mixtapes like crazy. I don't even know how they find my email or they hit me up on like Instagram, or I'll get LinkedIn ones or Twitter, whatever it is. I'll get some on Facebook Messenger. I'll get stuff. So people will send like these mixtapes, and I'm like, I'll look at them, but I don't know how much anybody can put together a great mixtape of them playing ball with a good soundtrack. But there's sometimes on recruiting trips, like, we've been talking to a guy who played with us, Xavier Moon. He's down in LA playing with the Clippers G League team. Yeah. So we made a trip out there to go, talk to him, watch him play, and tell him how interested we were in him. And then, we actually had a few meetings set up with some other players on his team, and one of them actually we just signed to our team. Lucas Williamson today actually got announced, who played with him, and he's from Chicago and going to be a really good player for us this year. So I think you got to do a little bit of both, man. Like that, if you don't get that FaceTime in front of guys and you can't tell them like what your story is and what your team is and what your vision is on and everything that we can offer you, because these guys, they get offers all the time, money to go play, and there's so many leagues around the world. But you got to tell them like what's different about it, right? You got to be like, hey, here's how we're gonna get you set up. Here's where we're gonna take you. Here's how we're gonna get you, and like here's where you get to live. Here's your gym. Here's your physio place. Here's your food. Here's your restaurants. Like my message to guys, like, spend the summer in Edmonton. There's no better place to spend the summer. The lights up, sun's up till like 10, 11 o'clock at night, right? Weather's perfect. And it's similar, especially American guys. Like it's pretty similar to the States. You're not going to Romania. That's a culture shock. You come here and we'll get you set up, man. And the money you make, you keep that money, and the rest of it we try to take care of you as much as we can.
Wow, that's nice.
Yeah.
So when they hear that, they can't say no to that.
I hope not, man. But like that's the thing. Like if you can explain that and have a coffee or something face to face with a guy, they can really see like, okay, I get what you're talking about, right? If you're trying to do this over like just a text or DM or something, it can get a little bit tough. And then there's agents involved, and how do you convey that message to the agent that gets to the player and everything, right? So if you can get right to a guy and just chat with them, I like our chances.
Oh wow, man! There's so much things that goes into this.
Yeah,
this is why I like to have people that are actually within the mix rather than me going off what YouTube tells me, the TV tells me. I have someone who's actually been through it, so I get a better feel for a better picture of it.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Totally.
But also I've seen when was the Junos? Yesterday or 2 days ago?
Monday nights, yeah.
I saw the hoop bus, the hoop the hoop bus. What is that? Is it just when someone's walking by, someone from your team kind of passes them a ball and they just randomly shoot, kill time?
Yeah, so it's still a working project, the hoop bus, but basically, so we bought a 30-person yellow school bus that you've seen driving around the city all the time. So we bought one of those off our partner for $1, which is great, and it runs perfect. It's awesome. Then we put a hoop on the back of this bus. So Spalding gave us a really cool like backboard and hoop. Put that on there, and we're gonna get it deckled up. We're gonna get a couple of local muralists to do some designs on it. Mm-hmm. We're gonna redo the interior, so take out all like the bench seats, put down like hardwood floor and some really cool stuff. And the idea is that like we want to go to community leagues, to different events all around the city, and we're bringing like basketball to you now, right? So like we're going to high schools and bringing our experience. Now we're bringing like Stingers experience and the hoop even right to you, to kids, to events, to be like, you know, if you're going to be, we want to be part of the community and part of that. Like now we're in your backyard, man. Now we're right there, and we're bringing a cool event to you with a really unique thing that nobody else is doing. So that's a hoop bus. It's they're doing it in LA and Chicago, so it's kind of living on that a little bit. Okay. On what they did, but we're going to put our own flair to it. And we got some good partners, and we want to bring like a little barbecue setup and like free booster juice. They're going to partner with us on this hoop bus too, and contests for kids, because it's like an 8.5-foot hoop contest for kids to shoot there, and they win Stingers prizes and tickets and all that kind of stuff. So it has it like, so we brought it. So for the Junos on Monday night, we found a parking spot right by there, which took a lot of work. Yep. So we had it out there, and we're shooting around. And the idea, we were trying to get like, you know, the host to come out, like Simu or any of the guys. I was like, we'll even take like Nickelback. I don't care. We just want some of the guys to like hoop there. And that didn't really work out, but we got a lot of like fans and stuff interest on it. So that's kind of things we want to do. We just come up with an idea and just run with it. Exactly. And once that's all done, you'll be seeing that thing around the city all the time.
I like that. So you said it's about 8 feet up in the air?
The hoop's about 8.5.
Oh, don't have me there, because everyone's getting dunked on.
No, I know that, and that's I didn't want it to go high, so it's good for kids, guys. Like it's just supposed to be fun, right? Yeah. So if you want to go dunk on your buddies, go for it, man.
So is it like after every Stingers game or before, it will be posted up right there within vicinity?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
If people are walking by, they could have a few shots before they go and watch the game?
100%. For all the games, we'll have it parked out front. We might even have a deal where it's like, maybe it's at a bar or something and picks guys up and drops them off. Like maybe it's a shuttle thing. We haven't figured that out yet, but it'll be around. You'll be around for sure.
The one thing I'm really noticing is how much for the community you are. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You're doing a lot of things that you're doing is like being put back into the community for the kids growing up in. I like that, because a lot of those things will never go forgotten. Like people won't forget about those type of things. And who knows, you doing that will also inspire someone else as they get older to do something that falls into the same realm of what you're doing.
Totally, man. Well, you know what? One of the cool things about this job and this team is like it kind of gives you a platform to do these things. And when you go down sort of the community route and things we can do to kind of better different neighborhoods and everything part of the city, you also kind of get the corporate buy-in too, right? Like it's easier, I should say, for a company or corporation to be like, oh, you guys are doing this, here's some money, I'll support you on that, instead of just like buying advertising space, right? Yeah. Like that game's kind of old and it's tough to sell. But if you're like, hey, company A, if you want to invest some money, to do this, and we're going to go refresh all these nets around the city, or you want to give some money towards so we have fresh hoops, which we're going to do full court refurbishments. So we're going to new paving, new lines, muralists, poles, hoops, rims, the whole deal, right? So they can get behind that and be like, here's what your money's really giving towards. Like this is something that's going to be here forever. And you start doing, and why I love the courts thing is because if you've seen it in places, man, if you can redo a whole court, like it's a changer for the neighborhood, right? It's a total game changer. Kids are hanging out there, or adults hanging out there. It just becomes sort of like a beacon of something really cool and unique. And they can be like, oh man, you live around there. Yeah, that's where that court design is. And that muralist did a cool design or whatever it is. So man, I love that kind of thing. And it's easy to get excited about it because I genuinely think it's pretty cool. I genuinely think it's awesome to do. And if we can be a part of that, why wouldn't we, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
One thing I've always been curious about is, as a CEO, how much control do you really have? Like, let's say if you woke up one day and said, I want to change it from Edmonton Stingers to Edmonton Wasp. Is that something within your power? Like, how much power does a CEO?
I think you could. You're right. I mean, I'm not going to make that change. Good reco, but I'm going to go another way on that. Yeah, man, like totally. Like it's up to myself, my other two partners. It's kind of our call on how much what we want to do, right?
Yeah.
So you want to change pricing on things, merch ideas, players, all that kind of stuff. It's really up to you. I mean, the league has a little bit of control on some things, so I don't want to say like you can do everything, but
they have
man,
a little bit that makes sense.
It's whatever you want to do, and then that's kind of part of the job is like, because everybody wants to come in and make changes and do stuff right away, and it's finding out what are the things that should be changed now, what's already working. You want to stay the course. What maybe isn't a good idea, or you thought was really simple to change, but you didn't really get into the weeds on it. Once you do, you're like, nah, that's okay. Let's just keep that as it is. So,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's what we got to figure out.
Jeez. Is there, well into this whole type of world, is there anything that you ran into that you kind of regret doing, if that makes sense? Like, let's say there was a pricing on a ticket that was too low, but as time went on, you're like, oh, maybe I should have made it this much, and you increased the price. What I'm trying to say is there anything that you've kind of messed up on being a CEO?
You know what? I think so me coming into this job last year, I was really just trying to take care of it. I knew about the Stingers, they're winning championships. I was really trying to bring it, more kind of legitimacy, getting the business side involved on that, getting the community side going, have people like really know about it. And we do put on an amazing fan experience. I know that, but because I think I was when you're there you're there at like 6 a.m. on game days, you're not leaving until midnight. Like it's a grind, right?
Yeah.
You kind of miss some things from the fan experience side that I never, like maybe there's issues with parking. I didn't even really think about that, right? Maybe there was long lineups at the concession for food. I didn't think about that. But when you're going to any kind of event, whether it's a sporting event or a concert or something, those are big deals, man.
Yeah.
Like if it's not a good price and a decent hot dog, a burger, a pizza, whatever it is, that stays with you, right? If you got to wait for 15 minutes to get into a parking lot, that stays. That stays with you. And those are kind of some of the things that, that I wasn't really that involved from that fan experience side that I would have liked to kind of look at right away. Mm-hmm. And I kind of knew that coming in, but you just get so caught up on the other things you got to figure out that you sort of take that on the side, which is, but this season, like, you really got to like take it from, okay, I'm just showing up, I'm getting my bus ticket, LRT, driving, Uber, whatever it is. I want to show up and be like, what is the actual like fan just coming to a Stingers game experience from, the minute they get out of their house with their gear on, ready to go, to when they leave the arena after the game. Like, how do you hit all of that, right? So that's my goal this year, to make that as amazing as possible from start to finish.
Have you, being at Rogers Place, have you seen the prices they have for some of the
food? I know, man.
Crazy. Because me, I do security there as like my second job there.
Okay.
And I remember one day I was just crazy hungry. And I had one of the guys telling me, whatever you do not get food from Rogers. But it was one of those days I'm not going to call Uber. Like I had to. I remember I went upstairs. I forgot what the room was called. I went upstairs. I went to go get a burger, nachos. Thing came up to a burger, nacho, and in a Sprite drink. Came up to like $24, $25.
Yeah.
And I was lost for words, because I'm like, that's crazy. $25 just for those three things. But I guess it is what it is with stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, they can do whatever they want to do, right? Like that's fine. If that works for their model, great, right? I mean, for us, like, one of the first things we did when we came into the ownership was like drop the season ticket price. So Upper Bowl, like $19 ticket, right? And those are actually great seats. They just put in brand new seats there. So drop that. The next thing we want to do is like, we have an under $5 menu, right? Item. So like, $2. We did Wiener Wednesday, $2 hot dogs. I want that every game. So can we do that every game? Can we do cheap pizza? Can we get a beer and a wine and a cooler kind of deal, or a pop deal too, right? Like, it needs to be, if you really want to like touch everyone, get everyone here, like remove all those barriers, man. So how is parking cheaper? How is that food cheaper? How is the ticket cheaper? And the kids get like free giveaways and be a part of it, like all that kind of stuff. So when they leave, they're like, man, that was that only costs us how much?
Exactly.
And that was an amazing, couple way to spend a few hours, right? Like, cool, I love this. I want to come back, and I want to tell my friends about it.
And you have the money to come back.
Yeah, you got the money too back. Like, and that's like why let those other things you can kind of control, put a bad taste. Like, when was have like an amazing game? It's overtime. You win on the last shot, all that kind of stuff, and all guys are talking about is like, it was an $8 slice of pizza. Like, well, don't do that, man. Don't do that to people. Like, there's other ways to generate revenue on that, right? Like, increase sponsorship deals. Hey, charge the courtside guys more. That's okay. They don't mind it. They'll pay for it because the experience is so good, right?
Exactly.
There's different ways of doing it. I don't think you need to go down that road, and we're gonna try not to.
Yeah, no. Thank God you're human, because hearing some of these prices, just like, you know what? I think next time I'll just stay hungry.
Yeah.
No way can I come here and pay damn near $30 for something I could have had for like 6, 8, 10, whatever the case may be elsewhere.
Yeah, I got you.
I don't know. Those type of stuff are crazy. But this one, I might not get an answer, but I'll give it a shot.
Okay.
If I was to ask you currently on the Stingers, which is your favorite player? Do you have a favorite player? Would you be able to tell me?
Currently, who's my favorite player? So we haven't even announced all of our players.
But I assume you've probably seen them all play in like practice.
Yeah. Definitely. Like, I'm up on all of them, right? So I don't know who'd be my favorite player, man. I don't know, because who are the guys we announced, right? Like, yeah. I mean, I would like Adika, Peter McNeely, who's played for us like from the start. I love the guy's heart, man. I love this guy wants to win so bad. He'll do whatever it takes. So,
he's got that
mentality. And as a guard, I can kind of relate to him on that side. He'll do whatever, and he's that kind of guy. Like, you need a three, and it's a tight game. Like, you can depend on him. So yeah, I think Deeks, man, and he's a really good dude. So he may be him. But I mean, if I got to pick someone, I'll go with
hard.
that. It's hard.
I got you.
Yeah.
Now, since the season hasn't started yet, what do you think the streak for the Stingers is gonna be? How many wins? How many losses? Well, what's your guess?
You know what? I don't know if I can give a guess. I really like the makeup so far of this team and what we're doing with the roster, and there's still a few wild cards to come in here, which could really put us over the top. Oh, yeah. So, man, may I put it another way? Like, if we can, there's some things, if we can shoot better than we were last year, if we can defend the right way in this league, I think we'll be successful. I don't know. I like our chances. I really like our chances. We're going to have a West and an East division. So the West division is us, Calgary, Vancouver, new franchise in Winnipeg, and Saskatoon. So if I'm looking at it in the West, I think it's between us and maybe one other team. I'll let you guys figure out who that is. But I think it's right there, man. I think it's right there. And that's, like fan experience, community, and then championship team. Those are kind of like the three pillars that we're going on. So, yeah, I'd be surprised if we're not there.
Hopefully, we come home with a chip this year.
Yeah, hopefully, man. Hopefully, late City of Champs. We've won twice. Oh, yeah. Last year we didn't have the best luck on that. You can blame me if you want, but we're this year I like where we're going with it. We're doing things the right way.
I like that. Yeah. So, any big goals for? I mean, I guess I did ask this earlier, but going for 2023, you know what I'm saying? Is there any goals you have going on for the team, for you?
Yeah, I mean, I still think like exposure, right? Like, I want everyone in this city to know who the Edmonton Stingers are. I don't want to ask like, hey, who are the Stingers? They play basketball? Is that a pro team? Is that you know what I mean? I want everyone to know about this. Whether that means everyone's been to a game or not, I want it to be like, what are these guys doing, man? They got this bus driving around. They're at high schools. They're doing nets. They're doing courts. These guys are everywhere. Like, they're just, why are these guys on my feet all the time? Like, I want that exposure to be crazy. So I want to bring that awareness out. And I want to sell out this place as much as possible. Like, I want when that building, the hangar we call it, was the Hive. Now it's the Flair Alliance hangar. When you've got 3,000 people in there. It's special. Like it's loud. It's not like being at a hockey game where everyone's like dead quiet. It's not like being at an Elks game or a baseball game. Yeah. Like it's a crazy vibe in there. And I want that as much as possible, right? I mean, I want that home opener, good chances that's going to be a sellout, and we're just going to continue to build the momentum from there. So I want as many people to experience it as possible. Because once you go, I don't even, like, no one's told me, and I hope they would, even like some of my good friends and family would tell me, like, Reed, that game was okay. I wouldn't have a great time. Everyone's told me, like, man, that was way better than I expected. That was so much fun. My kids loved it. Me and my boys loved it. We were partying. Like, it was great. Like, it's hit so many different levels. So, yeah, just exposure, awareness, and getting that place packed as much as possible.
Oh, yeah. No, for this year, I told myself last year I was going to go watch a game, but things just came up, and I never got the chance. But this year, you're going to see me there.
There you go.
That's going to make sure you see me there.
Think about last year is, like, we're coming back, and, like, COVID was just kind of ending. Like, we were masked till, like, March something. Like, right now, we were still wearing masks here. So, like, it took a little while to kind of get into it. And everyone had all this backlog. Like, man, I got these weddings going on. I got on this vacation. I got this other stuff. So and we still did okay. We're up about 40% attendance. But this year is really the year that, people can kind of plan out and be like, oh, I got to get to this game. I know my schedule works. I got to see what's going on. So,
yes, sir. Well, that's basically all I got to ask you. Before I wrap this all up, is there anything you want to ask me before I let you go?
Oh man, you want me to kind of flip the table on you? Like,
if there is anything else, some people have questions, some don't. It's fine if there's nothing. Because I do plan on having you again.
Okay.
If not,
that can work out. Yeah,
but
of course.
It'll for sure be after the season. This is you before the season. Let's see how you are after the season.
Yeah, here's the optimism before the season. Let's see how I feel at the end of the season. I'd probably just ask like a ball question. I just like to know, like, favorite team, favorite player, that kind of thing, right?
Me, so are you talking about the NBA?
Whoever.
So I'll put it like this. Me, once I say this one guy, you'll know exact. LeBron, Mr. LeBron James. I'm one of those type of guys where he goes, I go.
Okay.
If he's on the Heat, I'm on the Heat.
Okay.
If he's with Phoenix, I'm with Phoenix.
Okay.
So I'm with the Lakers. I'm with Mr. LBJ.
Okay.
He to me, he's just versatility is him and versatility go together like this. Yeah. He's a player that can play all positions, no problem.
Yeah.
You can't really give me that many players that can really do that, and at his age too.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. If I was to ask you, Jordan or LeBron, who would you say is better?
Well, I'm a Jordan guy. I'm a Jordan guy, but that might be my age. Like, that might be my age thing, right? I mean, I have a Michael Jordan room in my house. Like, I got a room where we just got like the Wings poster, we got the Jordans up, we got all this stuff, framed jerseys, all that kind of stuff. So I got the Jordan phone, which is crazy. So I got all that stuff. So I'm a big Jordan guy, and what I love about Jordan, I mean, it's just the guy's ruthless and he's a winner, right? Is LeBron a better person and stuff than Jordan? I mean, maybe, right? And does he have, like, for the longevity of LeBron, do this for 20 years, and not even that 20 years, like, the amount of games and the finals and stuff that he's put on his body, and for still be doing what he's doing, you see the highlights, and he's still throwing down like that. Like, he's still the scariest player ever. Like, he's still anyone. Nobody wants to see them in a play-in game. They just don't want to see LeBron in a play-in game. I don't, right? Yeah. I don't care if he's 45. I don't want to see him in a play-in game. So, he's special. But, I mean, the way that Jordan's career kind of went and how that all is, it's never going to be done again.
Yeah.
You're never going to win 3, go play baseball, and then win another 3, and dramatic. Crazy. Like, that's never going to happen again. So, it's pretty special there. So
2 questions. One, when you said Jordan phone, you mean like a 90s phone?
Yeah, like a 90s phone that you like
big
plug,
block with the wire.
Yeah, it's a basketball. You pull it, you plug it in.
Still have it.
I had it down in my basement. It used to ring all the time, drive my mom crazy. Because every time it rings, the basketball opens up and goes, introducing number 23, Michael Jordan, and it like flashes all these. It's like a production.
Pristine condition or what?
Yeah, it's still good condition. Yeah, it's a limited edition thing. It's special. It's good.
And then second question, you honestly think primetime Jordan and primetime LeBron, it'd be Jordan every time?
No. I mean, LeBron he's a specimen, man.
Crazy.
Like, he's crazy. Like, I tell people, I'm like, if you would have gave LeBron skates, you would have given him a soccer ball, you would have given him baseball. Like, he could play. He's that good of an athlete and that special of a person. He could be great at any sport. I really believe that. Yeah, I mean, he's on another level on that side than Jordan is, right? Well, I will give Jordan probably like Jordan, once he kind of lost that ability to athleticism, he really got into shooting, right? He was like Kobe, same thing, man. They were dunking on guys, doing all the pump fakes and everything. And then he started doing like, that low post game, the turnaround Jays, right? And LeBron's never really had it because he's still that fast. He can, if he wants to get to the bucket,
no one's stopping him.
Yep. And every time I'm still watching his games at night, and I'm like, I know you want to take that three, LeBron. I know you want to take it and you want to get that, but I'm like, just go to the hoop, man. Just go to the hoop because you're not going to stop you. They still can't stop you. And that's crazy, right? So he's got that those guys, they lost that kind of step and they had to change their game. So he can still dominate, but in a different way. He still has that, which is, I don't know.
And it's crazy to me because I never understand the amount of hate this guy gets. Oh, Jordan has this many rings. LeBron has that many rings. Yeah. It was just, why don't we just accept what we have right now for as long as he's here? Because how many years does he have in the NBA?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He probably is just me. I'm just one of those guys. Let's just enjoy it while he's still here.
You got to enjoy by like the eras, right? You start looking at all of them. You can't compare it to like 80s with Bird and Magic and Kareem in the 70s. You can't do all that kind of stuff, man. They're all different times and eras, and just enjoy what is right now. Is he the best player of his era? 100%. 100%, right? Was Jordan the best player of his era? For sure, right? Those other two guys, 100%. So,
no doubt.
Yeah.
But that's everything I got to ask you. Is there any final things you want to say? Probably let the people know where to find you, where to buy tickets.
Yeah, I mean, like I'll do a shameless plug. I'm not above that, man. So, thestingers.ca is the website.
Yes, sir.
Season tickets. We're going to do single game tickets go on sale March 30th, which is in a couple weeks here. So, check out the schedule, see if you can get to a game. I promise you, it's the best sporting experience you will get in this city. I promise you that. If not, I might even give a money back guarantee. You want to call me out on that?
I haven't been to a game, but I don't doubt you.
Yeah.
I don't doubt you. With the love I already have for basketball, I already know it's going to be nice. It's in my favorite city, my favorite sport. I'm just waiting on it.
Yeah.
Waiting for the 75 days to be over with. You're not the only one counting.
No, nice, man. Yeah. So that's it. Yeah. I mean, taking the game, I promise me you'll love it. So
sounds good. It's your boy Convo with Marlo.
And Reed Clark with the Edmonton Stingers.
And I'm out.